Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, I'll be showing you guys two secret vehicles on the mission Sacred Icon in Halo 2. Now these vehicles aren't exactly what you would imagine as like actual vehicles. These are actually, objects hidden in plain sight in the game, but are actually considered vehicles in the game files, like in the tags. But, they're not meant to be driven or used by the player. So the first one we'll be taking a look at is called the Sentinel Emitter. The Sentinel Emitter is this thing on a wall right here. Now, if you kind of like rush through the game and never really paid attention to these details, those things on the wall, the Sentinel Emitters, they are the things that spawn Sentinels on this mission, as well as the mission after on Sacred Icon. The hatch opens up and it glows and a Sentinel comes out of it. And, well, that's it. That's how Sentinels are spawned on this mission, at least. And Quarantine Zone. So these are called Sentinel Emitters, and even though they are like spawners and stuff, they are actually considered vehicles in the game files. Now, unlike previous videos where I showed you like secret vehicles on the map Sandtrap, where they actually had seats in them and that you could actually drive them as a player with very minimal changes, these things, even though they're vehicles, unfortunately they don't have seats in them. So they're not drivable, unfortunately, but they're still considered vehicles for some reason, and I really have no idea why they're considered vehicles, but they just are. But in Halo 3, when I showed you guys the one on Sandbox, the Sandbox Defender, the Guardians, as well as the golf ball being a vehicle. The golf ball, I added seats to it just to see what it's like to drive it, for fun. But unfortunately with Halo 2, that is not supported by assembly, so I could not add seats to it with those mod tools. But I was able to mod it so that we could play as the Sentinel Emitter. This is very similar to that new glitch on Halo 2 that lets you play as other characters and vehicles, where you can actually control the vehicles. You're not just driving them, but you're actually playing as the vehicle. Well, in this case with mods, we are now playing as the Sentinel Emitter. And while I can't move around, there is one interesting thing I could do. I could shoot and stuff, but if I switch weapons between my carbine and plasma pistol, it does actually open and close the hatch really quickly. But other than that, no other actions I do have any effect on a Sentinel Emitter. It really does nothing else. So that's the only control you have over it when you're playing as a vehicle. Now for the last vehicle I'll be showing you, is called the Plug Absorber. I'm just going to spawn it right off the bat here so we can take a look at what it is first and talk about it right after. So this is the Plug Absorber. That's right, this is a vehicle. So what is this? Well, if you thought it's like the door switch or the piston switches or whatever, you're partially correct. It's not the piston switches that we see like over here, but if you're thinking it's the one used later during the Sentinel Enforcer fight, then you would be also mostly correct. And I'll explain why. It does look exactly like it, and it functions exactly like it, but it's not it. So let's take a look. So the ones here during the fight against the Sentinel Enforcer, they have the same shape and appearance, and if you hit the switch on them, or if you shoot them, they will also be interactive. And you can see the thing wraps around it just like the one I showed you earlier. And technically they are functionally the same thing, but they are not the same. And the reason why is because, well, actually I don't exactly know why Bungie did this, but the version you see here, the vehicle version, these are actually unused. The ones you see during the Sentinel Enforcer fight, those are actually something else in the tags. They're exactly identical to this, but those are, I believe they are under the machine tag. So like the machine tag is usually used for things like doors and switches, which makes sense. But for some reason Bungie has a vehicle version of the same switch, but it's left unused. So it's technically a cut version of the switch that you see during the Sentinel Enforcer fight, which is interesting actually, because at one point they probably had different plans for how the switches would work. But for some reason this version is left over, and I'm 99% positive it's unused throughout the whole mission. Now, as for playing as the Switch, because it is a vehicle, so we can play as it, And technically, with that glitch to play as other characters or vehicles, theoretically you possibly could also play as the Sentinel Emitter and the Switch. Well, actually, no, not the Switch, because it never spawns in. So you can't take over it. But a Sentinel Emitter, yes. Now, when playing as the Switch, unfortunately, there's something interesting about it. Shooting, reloading, switching weapons, nothing happens. Unlike the Sentinel Emitter, where you could control the hatch closing and opening. But yeah, so that's basically it for the 2 secret vehicles on this map. They're unfortunately, they're not any super interesting vehicles that you can drive or play around with, but it is a little fun fact thing that they are in fact considered vehicles by the game, and it's something that the player should never be able to notice because Bungie hit it pretty well. But anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments. Anything else you want me to check out or look into, just let me know. But other than that, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys.